Good morning, Mrs. Morgan. Are you ready for a new school year?
I was, until the principal told me I was getting a new student.
Is it a special needs student?
Yes, the student has a cleft lip and palate. I don't understand what that is. Do I have to teach differently than I normally would?
I remember reading a pamphlet that I got at a seminar about this condition. It said a cleft lip and palate is a separation of the parts of the lip or roof of the mouth. This results when the parts fail to join correctly during the first few weeks of fetal development.
I understand that, but what does it mean for the child's interactions at school?
Many times it is no different from other students. The cleft can be repaired through surgery and oftentimes is done before the student reaches school age.
Will the student look like other students after the surgery?
From the pictures in the pamphlets, it appears there may be some scarring, but it is not obvious unless you look very closely.
Will the other students make fun of him because he looks different? I mean, children can be so mean sometimes.
We can't control what the students do, but we can make sure students know it is not acceptable in our school. We can teach them to treat everyone as equal, even if they look and act different.
I do remember some books we read when I was student teaching that may be helpful with that. I could create lessons around them for the first week of school.
Good idea.
What if his speech is different and he can't say words like all the other kids? Will I be able to understand what he is saying?
An article on the internet I read said that speech will probably be difficult because the cleft does not allow for the physical motions needed to create sounds. It also said that speech and language pathologists are able to teach children with a cleft how to form their mouths and make the sounds needed for speech. I'm sure Mrs. State will work with him on that.
She will probably take him out of the class to work. That means I have to use my free time to catch him up on what he missed while he was gone.
Mrs. State is very good at what she does. She may not need to, but if she does have to pull him, maybe she could do it during a time when you aren't instructing. Maybe during a time when the students are working independently.
That's a good idea, but won't he have a lot of homework if he doesn't get that work time? His parents probably won't like me sending so much work home all the time.
Maybe you could shorten his assignments.
How can I shorten assignments when I need them for grade cards?
Well, if he can prove that he has mastered the skill with 1 or 2 problems, is it really important for him to do 4 or 5?
No, not really.
The article online said that once the palate has been repaired, a child may be able to say more words, but speech may still be delayed. It also said something about articulation problems.
Articulation problems? That's exactly what I'm talking about. If he can't make the sounds correctly, how am I supposed to understand him?
Just remember that most speech problems can be corrected by a trained speech pathologist. They can teach children the proper formations to produce the sounds they are having problems with. Why don't you set up a meeting with Mrs. State? She could tell you the sounds that the student makes for certain letters. That way you will understand the child's speech patterns and can identify the sounds he is trying to make, even if they don't sound the way we are used to.
That's a good idea too. The principal also said he may be gone for multiple doctor's visits, but the parents try to schedule them in advance.
That's good. You can prepare the work ahead of time and send it home with him. That way he is not falling behind the other students. You could even do a mini lesson with him beforehand.
I have to take my free time?
I'm sure the parents don't want him to miss a lot of school unless it is necessary. You just have to remember what is best for him. Isn't that what teaching is about? Providing the best education that we can to the students in our classroom. Maybe his parents will allow you to tutor him before or after school.
You know, I did that with a couple of students last year to keep them caught up, and it worked out really well.
You see, he isn't the only student that you are making accommodations for.
I guess a cleft lip and palate isn't the worst thing in the world. I may need help from other teachers in the school, but we can figure out an appropriate plan. As a team.
That's a great attitude to have. You are not in this alone. Many teachers in the building will be willing to offer up help and support whenever you need it. I included.
Thanks. I'm glad I was able to talk with you. You really gave me some great information.
No problem. Have a nice day.